Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be discussing this Tokusatsu miniseries, a three-parter that's going to be coming up here sometime in the near future, and that is Super Speed Parahero Gandine, or it could be Gandine. I'm not sure exactly on the pronunciation, but this is an article I'll go ahead and link in the description below if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. But it stars a familiar face, especially if you've seen Kamen Rider Zi-O and you haven't heard about this series yet. The actor that played Shougo Tokiwa, or Kamen Rider Zi-O, Okuno, will be in the series, and he will be playing the hero in this series as well. This is a mini-series, but let's go ahead and get into this here, and we can talk a little bit about it afterwards. NHK has revealed new information and photos from the upcoming three-part Tokusatsu mini-series, Super Speed Parahero Gandine, which stars Okuno, Kamen Rider Zi-O, as Taishi Moriyama, and Fuka Kushiba from Tokusatsu Gagaga as Mika K. Okay, the series follows Taishi Moriyama, Okuno, a 17-year-old high school student who is in a wheelchair since he was 8 years old due to a car accident and dreams to become an astronaut. He likes to train para-athletics classes, the 1500 meter, to improve his body, and aims to become a top wheelchair track and field athlete. So already pretty cool, right? You got a hero that is handicapped, but not letting that stop him from pursuing his dreams of being an athlete. So I think already the premise for that in and of itself is already pretty cool, right? If it was a series about that. Serving as his coach is former track and field athlete Mikake Koshiba, along with his factory worker of a father and his childhood friend. They are eager to begin training. One day, a handsome alien named Goo, I should say, arrives on Earth and claims that he escaped a genocide from one of Earth's twin stars. Following Goo was a giant monster who attacked Taishi's home. Goo hands Taishi a special transformation item, turning his entire body with a special wheelchair armor. Now, this is interesting because honestly, this reminds me, for some reason, I get a lot of old school Tokusatsu vibes with the premise for this. I even get a little bit of Marvel vibes here because, as we know, one of the cool things that Stan Lee did back in the day was, of course, create, and this is all the way back in the 60s, was create the character of Daredevil. Obviously, being a blind superhero was a very appealing thing, and seeing them do something like this for a Tokusatsu series, I think is also very interesting. And the fact that it feels like something that should have been done sooner, right? That should have been done back like in the 70s or maybe even 80s. And maybe there is a Tokusatsu series that I'm not aware of that has already kind of crossed that bridge. But it's very rare to see something like this, I think, in modern times. I haven't really seen them go down this avenue with any of the current Tokusatsu shows that are out there. And by current, I mean within like the last 5 to 10 years. I haven't seen them really do anything like this. So it's pretty cool to see them do something like this. I think it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of really embodies the spirit of what I would perceive to be a classic Tokusatsu in terms of the premise. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this is about, and because it's a mini series, I'm pretty sure it'll be much easier for me to dedicate time actually watching it than say something that is like 50 episodes deep. So let's go on here. Takeshi Surono. I know I'm probably saying that wrong. Ultraman Dyna as Gen Moriyama, Taishi's father, and an engineer working outside of Tokyo under Moriyama Motor. In order to grant his son's wish to become an astronaut, he's currently developing a special space rocket. So very cool support of that. Karasu Hayashi, Ultraman Z as Foes, also known as Goo, a handsome alien from the maiden tribe of Planet Alert, currently trying to escape from Eltron tribe. He came to Earth with a mission. The wording of this is a little bit weird. To give Taishi the ability to transform. Also, he has powers that he doesn't even notice. Mori Nakamura as Seinario, Taishi's childhood friend, who often visits the Moriyama house and helps to make dinner despite having very unique taste in cooking and fashion sense, and also seems to be her special ability. So, I mean, I guess this is just kind of just going down the list of who's going to be in the show. That's something, if you guys want to check out the article, you can read more on that. I want to know a little bit more about the show, so let's continue on here with this. I'm just skipping ahead here. Now for Gandine's gear, Taishi transforms into Gandine using the mode shifter, which is powered by the user's ambitions. It's interesting. The Hyper Wheel, on the other hand, is his wheelchair that has 2 units, one based on wheelchair rugby and other specifically for racing. Gandine will require both to save the world. Okay, Gandine will face the monsters called Lagert, which was sent to Earth by Ultron Tribe. The 12-meter tall monster is a half mechanical living entity, and its goal is to hunt down Goo. So, we have kind of a big monster there. I don't think there's going to be anything growing to the size of, say, a building in this. It's just going to be more a cut and dry, Tokusatsu, transforming Tokusatsu hero fighting an enemy that's on a decent scale size. So finally, the series will feature guest appearances from actual disabled athletes in Japan who participated in various wheelchair sports. That's really cool. One of the show's guests is Higuchi Masayuki, who holds the record for the men's 5,000 meter and 1,500 meter in Japan's races, and will act as coaching advisor to Kei. Other guests include Ryuta Yoshida, Takeru Sato, Rinpei Sasaki, and Takuho Sasahara. Now, I wonder, Takeru Sato, is that... I'm guessing that's just another athlete, potentially. I don't think they mean Takeru Sato from Kamen Rider Den-O. That might be just another disabled athlete in Japan. But I think this is pretty friggin' cool so far from what I'm seeing. The first 2 episodes are written by Yukiko Manabe, Wolfgirl, and Black Prince, and the 3rd episode is written by Hirotoshi Kobayashi from Ultraman Taiga. The series will feature character designs by Shinji Nishikawa, Godzilla, of Godzilla fame, and will be directed by Takanori Sugimoto. Ultraman Z, Super Speed Parahero Gandine is set to premiere on June 26th, with the last 2 episodes airing on July 3rd and July 10th. Each episode is expected to run at least 45 minutes long. Okay, so this will probably be, like it said, just a mini-series. Who knows, maybe if it's popular enough, it may garner a series. But, I mean, it's always cool to see things like this being made for people that, especially, children in Japan that might have a disability. This is something that could be very inspiring to me, and not just from the superhero aspect of things, but seeing actual athletes that they might already look up to be in it, or it might inspire them to become athletes themselves and show them that they're not limited or bound to just being a person stuck in a wheelchair, that they could be more. They could go beyond their disability, and it's not something that has to define them, but how they can overcome that disability is something that could define them and stuff like that. So I always like seeing stuff like this. I think it's always very inspirational, and it's a good way to kind of teach kids that lesson, I think, in a format like this, one that will grab their attention and keep them hooked to the positive message that it could bring. So be interesting to see. And like I said, it's cool to see a guy, an actor, and by that I mean an actor, do something else that's Tokusatsu related, because a lot of times I've seen with some of these actors that show up in, say, like Kamen Rider and sometimes Super Sentai, we've seen it before, sometimes they might get typecast, and some of them don't really want to pursue just doing stuff in Tokusatsu. I mean, just recently with the last video I put out, it seemed like Tetsuo Kurata, who played Kamen Rider Black in the shows Kamen Rider Black and Black RX, seemed to almost lament the fact that he did those Tokusatsu shows because they typecasted him, right? I'm sure there's a degree of appreciation for those roles because they are what put him on the map, and he's at least known for those. But it seems like not too many actors, like in the case of like the guy who played Kamen Rider Kuga, I didn't really see him do anything Tokusatsu related, or at least that I know of much after that. And from my understanding is he seemed to want to kind of distance himself from that role, just to do other things. Now, I don't know if that's because he just didn't want to be typecast with that role, or if it was something that he was embarrassed about. I don't think that a lot of these Japanese actors are necessarily embarrassed by the fact that they started off with these Tokusatsu roles. I think that just like anybody else, they don't want that role to be the only one that defines them. But you could have somebody here in Okuno who doesn't care, right? Who might he just wants to work, and maybe because of the fact that he was in Kamen Rider Zi-O, he knows people not might, but people will watch it because they recognize him from Kamen Rider Zi-O, because that wasn't that long ago that he played that role. So interesting stuff. Definitely one I'm going to be looking into. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this upcoming Super Speed Parahero Gandine, or Gandine, however it is that it's pronounced. Looks to be pretty interesting. But yeah, let me know what you think. Until next time, y'all know how it goes. The hunt continues.